We have a very serious problem in America. The left, they do their usual, they blame guns the minute something bad happens. They do their very pitiful and corrupt best and always blame Republicans.
It, of course, makes me think about guns and all the work we've done to ban these automatic rifles and to do something when it comes to the background checks and everything, and we keep getting thwarted. We were able to pass a limited measure on a bipartisan basis, but not enough to stop something like this. And it just makes you think about that as well without knowing the details about how he got that gun, if the gun was legal, what kind of gun it was. But it was clearly one of these automatic rifles to be able to shoot that many kids so fast.
Never let a crisis go to waste. Isn't that the Democrat mantra? By the way, that was Amy Klobuchar just minutes after the world found out about the tragic shooting in Minneapolis. They wait just sometimes seconds to go after the Second Amendment and then talk about weapons that they know absolutely nothing about. But they don't want to talk about the real problem, a problem they created. The Uvalde shooter, trans, 21 people dead, 19 children. The Denver shooter, 5 dead. Georgia shooter, 4 dead. Nashville shooter, 6 dead, 3 children. Iowa shooter, 2 dead. Minneapolis shooter, 2 children dead. All with one thing in common: transgenders. They fed this. Democrats pushed this trans issue above all other issues. They fed this entire sickness because that's what it is. The whole mentality. This, once again, is squarely on the Dems, and they know it. We need to talk about this. This is the root of the problem. As Indiana Senator Jim Banks puts it, when you affirm mental illness instead of treating it, people get hurt. Couldn't agree with you more, Senator. Here's what we know. Robin Westman, formerly known as Robert Westman, is a transgender. Robin Westman, his new legal name as of 2020, walked into or right outside a Catholic church in Minneapolis and fired into the windows at children praying in pews. He killed at least 2 children, ages 8 and 10, while some 17 other children and adults are still injured, some critically. Every mass shooting of the innocent is sickening, but there's special horror when the victims are children. Westman was disturbed, and he fantasized about violence. Look at the video. This is a video of his manifesto. His manifesto and social media accounts described the killing of children. He had deranged thoughts about killing filthy Zionist Jews, quoting him and others. One of his many guns was labeled, "Kill Donald Trump." Those are just some of the facts. Well, here's another one. Democrats have propped up a mental illness for years. They've made it the center of their platform. At this moment, and others like it, the culmination of their obsession with transgenderism and the grooming of this country's children. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, just moments ago.
Minneapolis will continue to be a safe haven for undocumented immigrants, for our trans community. Regardless of who you are or where you come from, Minneapolis is a place where you should be proud to call home.
A safe haven for the trans community. But what about being a safe haven for our children, for parents, for everyday Americans, for Christians? Not so much, huh, Mayor? Right after the shooting, Jen Psaki was quick with the usual leftist gaslighting. Quote, "Prayer is not freaking enough. Prayer does not end school shootings. Prayers do not make parents feel safe sending their kids to school." Still quoting Jen, "Prayer does not bring these kids back. Enough with the thoughts and prayers." But you know what? She's right. She is right. Prayer is good. It's great, but prayer is not enough. And as if all that wasn't bad enough, Jen Psaki circled back with this little performance.
You're going to start seeing narratives. You're already seeing them. They're already out there about how the shooter was trans. You're going to see narratives about how the shooter appeared to be anti-Trump and anti-Semitic and clearly was in the midst of a mental health crisis. There's no question about that. But here's the thing. There are trans people all over the world. There are anti-Semitic people, unfortunately, all over the world. And people filled with plenty of political hate all over the world.
No. I'm sorry, Jen. You don't get to just brush the facts under the rug because they're inconvenient for you and because you yourself are responsible. Question. Is this you, Jen Psaki?
Every major medical association agrees that gender-affirming healthcare for transgender kids is a best practice and potentially life-saving.
Yeah, just checking. So yeah, you're responsible too, Psaki, Jen, and every one of those extremist Democrats. They're all right, they're all right. The prayer is not enough. They're right about that because what we need to do is also imprison the Democrats who made this man think he's a woman. Encourage him to make presidential assassination threats in white paint on his AR-15 magazines. Caused him to believe Hamas is a force for virtue, killing 1,400 Jews. And caused him to hate Catholics and Jews alike. Because this is what the problem is. The Democrat Party has become extremist, and it's a crisis that's hurting, killing Americans. This is now the party of violence. Democrats, the party of violence. Polling shows that more than half of Democrats now believe violence against President Trump is, quote, justified. That's who they've become. This shooter didn't come from nowhere. And it sure as hell wasn't COVID or video games, folks. And it's not the gun. It didn't shoot anyone itself. If not for leftism, gun violence in America would drop 90%. This man was radicalized in a culture that the Democrat Party has not just tolerated or maybe even not even just encouraged, but they created and pushed. They put it up on a pedestal. Transgenderism will protect you. This is what Trump derangement syndrome has created. Hate, violence, chaos. Democrats need to come out and denounce this kind of political violence, but they won't and they don't. They need to help snuff out these extremist networks. Stop supporting terrorist organizations outright. Issue a loud and clear denunciation of violence, any violence, against President Trump, against MAGA, against his supporters, against people who believe in the Second Amendment, against Christians, against Jews, but they don't and they won't. Stop referring to the president as Hitler or fascist, and stop, for God's sakes, referring to all of his supporters as the KKK. Right, Jasmine Crockett? And while we're at it, there can be no federal funding for child gender transitions. Men cannot be in women's safe spaces just because they suddenly feel like being a woman. Stop medicalizing minors with taxpayer dollars and stop glorifying and protecting the mentally ill for some self-righteous snowflake liberal nonsense. There'll be no sugarcoating here. So here's the ultimate truth. It's time for America to realize that if you take a young human brain, still forming, and you suddenly introduce massive amounts of wrong sex hormones into it, you create a mentally ill and highly disturbed young person. No more of this.
When our children tell us who they are, it is our job as grown-ups to listen and to believe them.
This is what the Democrat Party has created. And if it only stopped there, I don't know, because it doesn't, they're pushing this on children. The medical establishment and our leftist politicians need to stop lying and living in denial, but just face some common sense facts. Political correctness and large sums of money for the medical and transgender industrial complex be damned. It's time we all face objective reality. Everything else, coming for gun control, attacking Republicans, it's nothing more than political partisan opportunism. Enough of the dirty doctors making money off social sickness. Enough making our children sick and sicker, plying them with drugs. Enough is enough. All right, is the continued divide between the Trump and the Federal Reserve putting us behind the curve again? Can the Fed take the right action at the right time? Or are we going to be looking at potential economic slowdowns? And what does it mean for your savings? Consider diversifying with Birch Gold. And do that right away. For decades, gold has been viewed as a safe haven in times of economic stagnation, global uncertainty, high inflation. And Birch Gold makes it incredibly easy for you to diversify some of your savings into gold. If you have an IRA or old 401k, you can convert that into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, or buy some physical gold just to keep it in your safe. First, get educated. Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. Just text the word America to the number 989898. Again, that's America to 989898. Consider diversifying a portion of your savings into gold. That way, if the Fed can't stay ahead of the curve for the country, at least you can stay ahead of the curve for yourself. We'll be back. 2.5 minutes.